Welcome to the first video about how to deal high boss damage, and apologize for my absolute incomplete lack of editing skills, but I am not trying to acquire them just for these videos, at least not at this time. So in this video I will talk about how to gear your character, which runes to use, and which characters are the best to use and which resonances. In a separate video, I'll talk about which skills to pick, and we will have videos on strategies for every boss, at least for every guild guild boss fight. So first, which weapon to use? I have good news and bad news. If you're an Oracle user, you're basically using the best gear. If you're not an Oracle user, we will have to make some changes in order to do higher boss damage. But on the bright side, you're wiping the floor with Oracle. You're wiping the floor with Oracle users in Arena, so at least you're getting some better rewards there. So let's start with weapon. What's the best weapon to use? Well, that's actually just about every weapon is good enough. If you see the mythical Oracle weapon will give you about 16% crit rate. The mythical Griffin Claw will give you about 18%. So they're about the same in terms of power. Everything else is about the same. And the Dragoon weapon is actually perhaps the most interesting. The chaotic version will give you increased in main weapon damage based on how many skills you have. So it's quite possible that the Dragoon main weapon is the best one. However, since I don't have it chaotic, I can't really compare. And as a result, just use whatever your best weapon is, no matter what gear you use. So next up, the chess piece. There is really only one option here, and that is Oracle. And that is because of the, again, mythical unlock, which is for every 5 combo hits, plus 4 diagonal arrows on next hit. That essentially quintuples your damage more or less, because you're going to be essentially generating combo hits so quickly that almost every one of your hits will have plus 4 arrows. So there's no real substitute for this. The only substitute if you don't have mythical Oracle armor is to either use the purple version, or if you don't even have that, use Echo. Use a maxed out Echo. That will give you plus 2 arrows, but that's still better than plus 0 arrows. When it comes to ring, I still want to say that the Oracle ring is probably the best. I don't have a Griffin ring. I think the Griffin ring is also decent. Yeah, it does give you critical rate, but the Oracle ring gives you attack speed. If your crit rate is already high, Oracle is probably the better ring. If your crit rate is low, Griffin might be the better ring, but I don't think it's worth investing in a Griffin set if you already have the Oracle one, or vice versa. So just use whatever you have. And again, if you don't have this, go either with an epic Oracle, epic Griffin, or a fully maxed out Echo or Agile ring. That will give you some kind of damage increase. Next up is the helmet, and again, there is one that stands above all, and again, that is the Oracle chaotic helmet. So if you do not have chaotic Oracle, you're better off not using Oracle. However, the chance to gain +1 multi-shot on critical hit is huge. Essentially, once your crit rate is high enough, you are shooting 4 projectiles every time. There's nothing else that compares to that. I would, in my opinion, the second best option is the Griffin. The Griffin helmet at epic or mythical, it gives you pretty good crit damage, and at chaotic, it gives you really quick attack speed. The Dragoon helmet used to be really good because of a bug that created an explosion. whenever you hit. I am not sure that bug. I think that bug is fixed, so I don't think it's that good anymore. When it comes to amulet, again, Oracle is by far the best PvE amulet. And one thing I do need to specify is that all of my ratings here are entirely for boss fights and not for arena. In fact, the best boss fight gear is not that good in arena. So the reason the Oracle amulet is good is because of the double damage on every three combo hits. That's, as you can imagine, is huge. Furthermore, the chaotic unlock when combo reaches over 40 hits, projectile splits +3. That is also actually adds quite a bit to the damage, but I know it's not accessible for most people. I'll explain why this works, how this does extra damage in a later video. If you do not have the Oracle amulet, just use a maxed out Echo amulet. It's just you will still get for every 5 combo hits, it doubles the next attack damage. Again, it's not for every 3, but it's still a significant damage boost over the other 2 amulets. The other 2 amulets are just not worth anything in terms of boss fights. And finally, the boots. You really have 2 options here, Griffin or Oracle. The Griffin boots will give you crit damage when you're close to the enemy, which you will be most of the time if you want to do really high damage. And the Oracle boot will give you, again, crit damage after 30 combo hits. The Oracle boot will technically give you slightly more than the Griffin. So if you have Oracle, you can use Oracle. If you have Griffin, there's no point in investing in Oracle boots. And if you have Dragoon, sorry, but just use Echo. Dragoon is purely defensive. It's the best boot for arena, but absolute garbage for boss fights. Okay, next up are the runes. So let's start with the enchantment runes. The revive is absolutely mandatory for anything you do in this game, so of course revive. The second best rune is Rabbit's Foot, because it increases the chance of obtaining high quality skill when you level up, and once you get it to Mythic also from the Valkyrie, but again, I'm not quite there yet. It's just better to have better skills. That's as simple as that. When it comes to the runes on the left and the right side, you want Sharp Arrow, so basically anything that gives you primary weapon damage or main weapon damage. And I am heavily invested into Elemental, and I do think Elemental is the second best thing after weapon damage. So as you can see, with the exception of my top left rune, which is a Saw Blade rune, which I'll explain in a second, everything else I have is either main weapon or elemental damage. As far as enchantments, what you want to invest in or what you want to have are critical chance, both for main weapon and elemental. This is your number 1 priority. Your number 2 priority is damage, either main weapon or elemental damage. And your number 3 priority is critical damage, again, either main weapon or elemental. Now, why do I have this Saw Blade rune? Well, out of all of my other runes that are useless for boss fights, my Saw Blade rune just has the best enchant, which is attack power. Not great, but better than anything else I have currently. Finally, which character should you pick? So for your main character, you really only have, I would say, 1.5 option, and that's Nyanja or a high-tier Dracula. The high-tier Dracula meaning the 5-star or above, really 6-star, where you've unlocked the plus 20% movement speed when your health is over 50%. But I still think Nyanja is just better because you always have the extra movement speed. In terms of resonances, the most important one by far is Thor. If you do not have a character that has a resonance unlocked, just use Thor. And if you don't have Thor, get Thor. There's nothing that even compares to how good Thor is for boss fights. For your second resonance, you actually have a couple of options. You can use Otta's Brutality, which will give you critical strike chance, I believe, and or critical damage. You can use what's her name? Whatever, the ice lady, this lady, Rolla. You can use Rolla's resonance. I personally am a fan of that one because it disables the bosses. It kind of resets them. For some bosses, it may be a problem. For others, it's actually quite good. You could use Dracula for the extra. Oops, that's not Dracula, but Dracula for the extra damage when you are full, or when you lifesteal upon full. But I would actually not use that one. It's not that good. Or you could use Seraph's for a 50% chance to gain an extra skill at the start of the match. In my opinion, I would say your best two options are Rolla or Otta. I have not tried Finks, the brand new character, so it's possible that he is better than any of these two, but I will have to test that out once I have it. So for now, I'll just choose Rolla because that's what I normally use. And in the next video, we'll talk about the best skills to pick.